it wasn't lighting, and they would literally keep doing these 7-minute takes, and at the very end you got to light this lighter, and it was just kept screwing up, and it would ruin the whole scene. They had to keep doing it over and over. It took forever. Drive-by movies, you're watching
Fresh releases.
My name's Blaze.
I'm James.
This week, we're talking the film 1917, directed by Sam Mendes, starring Dean Charles Chaplin and George McKay. So I think, if I remember correctly, you haven't seen too many Sam Mendes films.
Only a few. Like the main ones that I feel like most people remember. Mm-hmm. A couple that maybe
So American
forgot.
Beauty?
No, not that one though. Yeah.
I was going to say, for me, it's like his movies like Road to Perdition, American Beauty. I think everyone's going to remember Away We Go because it seemed kind of off-brand for him. Mm-hmm. And then Skyfall is him bringing it back to like his original style.
Right, yeah.
This, though, doesn't really feel like it's entirely the style that I don't know if he's really known for. It is a war movie, but at the same time he's doing something different with it, going for that one shot type of movie.
Right. Yeah, that was one of the things that took my breath away with Skyfall. I thought it was more than just a James Bond movie. It was definitely an actor's movie, like Javier Bardem chew the scenery up like crazy, and I loved it. Mm-hmm. The cinematography is what stood out the most in that movie. And here we go again with this one. I mean, I think that's what this movie is going to really take the Academy Awards by storm with the cinematography. Maybe not so much the writing or plot point aspects of it, but I can see director though.
Yeah, I mean, I like the cinematography in this movie. I think it's very well done. I would probably go production design more if I was honest, because the fact that they did build these crazy trenches and they spiral back and forth in terms of like, as the viewer, you kind of get lost in them, and it gives you that sense of being in the war. But when it comes to cinematography, the gimmick and the magic trick of doing a film that seems like it's all in one shot, like I know this film wasn't done in one shot, but it gives the illusion through editing that it's all one singular take and taking place in real time. But that also like kind of hampers cinematography in an aspect, because your cinematography is going the whole, you have to constantly be composing shots. True. Instead of really sitting down, setting up the architecture and framework of what your film and storytelling will be with cinematography.
I can see that. Yeah.
It's not there as much, where a film that you're setting up every single shot. Like I'm thinking of some of the best cinematography I remember is probably Parasite. At least that was one of my favorites. There's a lot of cool metaphors just in the cinematography alone. Mm-hmm. But I mean I think Roger Deakins did an amazing job on this movie, but I feel like it might not really add up when you are trying to play that grand illusion of, the one take movie.
It makes more sense than Gravity, though. I still don't understand how that movie won Best Cinematography. I will never understand that. But I mean, like Blade Runner, I thought his work in Blade Runner was a lot better. And he won very well deservingly for that movie.
Wait, he won cinematography for Blade Runner?
I think that was a movie where he finally won his Academy Award. I know he won his Academy Award literally like within the past 2 years. Like finally everyone's just like about time, and I'm pretty sure it was with Blade Runner, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean here he is again. Like I feel like it's been a couple years since I've heard his name. I feel like Blade Runner was the last time I heard his name, and I was like, True. Yeah.
Or I think it was Arrival.
He did not win for that.
Oh, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he won for that. Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did it. I remember he did Sicario.
In the comments below, this is going to be just roasting you for claiming things and then being like, I don't know if I'm right.
Or will it be you, though?
It might be me. So in the comments below, let us know which one of us is wrong.
We're both wrong.
Yeah, we're probably both wrong, to be honest. He did win, though. I know you're right about that. Like, it was like 17 nominations in the making or something like that, right?
I want to see a movie about that. It probably wasn't even for a movie. It was a technical or like an achievement award for like, thank you.
Oh, before the Oscars, when they do the governor's ball or whatever, I think it was that. Like it was an honorary Oscar.
I didn't realize that this was the roast at Roger Deakins right here. Hire us, Academy.
So when it comes to this movie though, I feel like the cinematography is great. I don't think that the real shining is just that grand illusion of the whole movie. I felt like the acting is really, it's so well done that like there's a scene in the beginning where you're talking about, one of the trivia about this was the fact that the light, like a lighter wouldn't light because it was like an old school lighter that, you know, made for the time, and like it wasn't lighting, and they would literally keep doing these 7-minute takes, and at the very end you got to light this lighter, and it would just kept screwing up and it would ruin the whole scene. They had to keep doing it over and over. It took forever.
I can only imagine if they tried it with a match the first time, like this isn't working, switch it to a lighter, and just like, it's true though, I never thought of that being an actual problem for the movie. But when you told me that, I was like, oh, I know exactly what scene you're talking about. Yeah. It's very early on in the film. That's a very, very long take. Yeah. And that's the end of the scene. And just like, I can only imagine the frustration of having to shoot that more than once. I mean, I know, you know, like a movie like this, they have to reshoot everything a couple times, but just like that, like everything can go perfect in one shot sometimes, but just like when that little thing ruins an entire scene, like I can only imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel like this is slightly, I don't know if people have really been saying it about it, but do you feel like this is, I don't know if I would say this is like a great war film, but is it the anti-war war film in a way almost?
Well, interestingly enough, it's about like trying to end a battle, but like, I mean, overall though, I wouldn't say that. I'd just say that it's overall just like a great story about bravery and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Overall, that's like what I thought Sam Mendes' intention was. It doesn't feel like anti-war at any point, because even Benedict Cumberbatch, I didn't know he was in this movie, but like he says like, all right, we'll end it here, but what's the point? They're literally going to send us out next week or something. Yeah. And that, I mean, that kind of is what this World War I and II were essentially, but just, yeah.
I did think that there was, you know, messages at certain point in time, especially when one of the captains, Mark Strong's telling George McKay's character, like, make sure there are witnesses when you deliver the message, because if he's war hungry, like I don't think he knew Benedict Cumberbatch's character, or maybe he did, but he's just saying like, you know, some people when they're in the mindset of war, like they totally lose themselves.
Never thought about that, but like I know Apocalypse Now, of course, touches up on that and stuff. But yeah, it felt like a very great war movie. I feel like it's been a while since we've gone. I know a lot of people bring up Dunkirk. I did really enjoy Dunkirk, and maybe I need to revisit it, but I wasn't as blown away or taken away that other people were. Versus this movie, I felt like this is the best war movie I've seen since Saving Private Ryan.
We've got orders to cross here.
That is the German front line.
Hold back! If we're not clever about this, no one will get to your brother.
So I think that one of the strongest parts of this movie is the acting, and especially it's coming from a lot of actors that we've seen in a couple, you know, movies here and there, but they're not household names. Right. They're definitely more unknown and coming up actors, and I can see them getting a lot of roles after this because it makes it feel a lot more authentic. You know, you have Mark Strong, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Colin Firth in roles.
And I like that they have small parts too. Like they just like have an important scene, and they have great lines of dialogue, as much as like, you know, Mark Strong I thought was the strongest and stuff, but
yeah, definitely, because I feel like he's in a little bit less movies here and there, but the bigger actors took me out of it because the bond between the two main actors is so strong and so realistic that you're spending pretty much the whole movie with them, that it kind of, when you get added another character that you recognize from other movies, it kind of took me out of it a tiny bit, you know?
No, I 100% agree. Like, actually, some of the writing, I'd say stronger parts of it is when we actually get the character development between our main star of the movie. What's it called? Dunkirk, I thought, because it's multiple stories simultaneously happening, like it was easy to get distracted or forget about certain ones. Yeah. But this one, since you're spending the same, or you're seeing the main two characters throughout the entire film, they're in every shot of this movie. Like especially my favorite scene in the movie, I'd say, even though a lot of people were going to the bathroom at that point, was this, not you, but I just remember like, oh, it was kind of a whack audience that we saw this with. Yeah. But my favorite scene is the scene where he's with the French girl who's in hiding and stuff. I thought that like scene, like it really gives you a chance to breathe, like after like a really intense moment, then it goes straight into the most intense scene in the movie, I'd say, right after that.
Yeah, that's a very beautiful moment, very authentic. You have two people that can't speak the same language, and then you really go full circle with that little moment of he got the milk from that cow, and then he's giving it. Like that was a very, honestly, I teared up a little bit at that because it was just such a beautiful little moment in all the panic and hysteria of, you know, he was fighting off that guy that was in the sniper tower and then running from other soldiers in this burned down city. Like that was a very beautiful scene.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's a bummer that the two main stars, like, even though it's not a dialogue driven movie, I'd say, like they were definitely deserving of a nomination, I felt like, for the Academy Awards. I mean, I know that a lot of people argue like, oh, but this is DiCaprio's year, or this is Brad Pitt's year, or Joaquin Phoenix's year, but it would have been nice to see some. But I'm glad that Sam Mendes got some love, and is it my favorite movie of the year? No, but I would have put it in my top 5 for 2019. Still kind of works as a 2020 movie though, because it just barely came out.
True, it's just barely now wide release. But coming off the Golden Globes, this won a couple awards.
Yeah, I thought it was deserving. Sam Mendes absolutely deserved it. He won Best Director, and then it won the big one, Best Picture for drama though, at least. Yeah.
So Golden Globes are usually like the foretelling of what's going to happen at the Oscars. The Oscars, a couple weeks ago, they came out with all their nominations. I know that this was one of the big heavy hitters alongside Joker. And I forget what the third was. The third
Probably
movie, Parasite,
or
Once Upon a
Parasite did get a lot of nominees. Bong Joon-ho, Best Director, that's huge, and like it got nominees outside of Best Foreign Film. That's all the love I thought it was going to get, and the fact that it's getting love in multiple categories is cool.
Yeah, definitely. But do you think that I feel like this could be really the front? I mean, it just depends on how it goes with the Joker. Like, is the Joker going to be taken actually seriously, or is it literally going to be this joke of trying to appeal to a mass audience?
I think they're going to give Joker love to appease the huge superhero audience that gets upset. But I think 1917 it's going to be up between that and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I feel like that take home the big awards. I feel like I mean, as much as I love Parasite, that'll easily win Best Foreign Film, and that's deserving. And 1917, I'd be happy with it winning. I felt like last year was disappointing. Like, what was the winner? Green Book? Like,
I think that was a little.
It's already kind of forgotten about and stuff.
I think last year was honestly a bad year for movies. If I'm being honest, I feel like this year has been a lot better.
So this is a great one, I feel like, and I'm excited to see how it does. And this is a fantastic movie. Definitely go see it. It's now playing everywhere. It just came out, and it was only playing in 4 theaters in 2019. Now it's playing everywhere, so go check it out. I definitely recommend everyone checking out this movie. It was honestly a great experience. It's very poetic, very beautiful, but also very tense and exciting at times. And that's going to conclude this week's episode. Thank you so much for checking us out. Be sure to leave a comment and let us know what you thought about 1917 yourself.
Definitely click that subscribe button and make sure you click the notification bell to stay up to date with Drive-By Movies.
And that's going to conclude this week's episode of Fresh Releases. Tune in next week for another new video.